guys, welcome back to Life of Steph and to day 10 of 12 days of killings. So for December 10th, we have two murders that happened. So December 10th, 2003, we have Thomas Bartlett Whitaker's mother and brother both killed. His father was actually shot as well, but he did manage to survive the wound. And so this crime was committed by Chris Brashear. So it turns out that he had actually been a hired hitman. So Thomas Bartlett Whitaker was born December 31st, 1979 in Houston, Texas. And so he actually attended Clemency High School, which he ended up having to leave because he was just getting in trouble. He was often caught stealing, and he did see a counselor, and it was determined that he experienced the clinical symptoms of a delusional disorder. So it turns out in 2009 he did have another evaluation, and they also concluded that he was just overly compensated. He definitely lived in luxury. He would receive things from his parents, gifts, and they were wealthy, so he was living the high life without really earning it, I guess. And so they did feel that that had negative effects on Whitaker. And as he received more of these gifts, it was also like his mind, his thoughts, all of that just became more and more disorganized. So a few things that he just received: he would receive cars, like luxury cars. His parents paid tuitions for him to go to school. So he attended Baylor University and Sam Houston State University. They also bought him a lakeside townhome in Texas. And then for his graduation gift, they gave him a $4,000 Rolex watch. Now, this Rolex watch was given to him just a few hours before his mom and brother were killed, and before his dad was killed or shot. Attempted to kill, but he was shot. He also had access to an $80,000 trust fund from his grandparents. Although, according to court, he claimed that he didn't know he had access to it. And while he was attending school, he actually ended up dropping out and not even telling his parents. So it would have been interesting to see what graduation they were going to attend. But anyway, on December 10th, 2003, he did tell his family that he had just finished his final exams and that soon he would be done with university. At this point, he was attending the Sam Houston State University. So he gave him this whole elaborate story. And so they actually drove out to Stafford so that they could have a dinner. They wanted to take him out to dinner to celebrate that he had just finished his final exams and he was going to graduate. Now, while they're going there, Chris Brashear had actually entered their home. He was dressed all in black, had a ski mask on, and he entered their home, took one of their guns, and even their own ammunition. Yeah. And then he proceeded to stage the house as if there had been a burglary. And then he waited near the front door for the family to return home. So when they all get home, Thomas Whitaker claimed that he had actually left his phone back in the car. So he walked back to the car, and everyone else entered the home. Kevin Whitaker was the first to enter the home, and he's also the one that was the gun owner. So when he entered the home, he saw the intruder, and for some reason didn't really freak out or wonder why there was this person there. Kind of just smiled at him. And so Bashir proceeded to shoot Kevin once, and it went through his chest, and then he immediately fell to the floor. Patricia was also shot in the chest, and she also fell to the floor. At this point, Kent Whitaker rushes in, and he's shot in the shoulder, and the bullet actually ended up shattering his humerus. At this point, we have Rory Thomas running inside, stages a struggle with Brashear, and in the struggle, he manages to get shot in his left arm. All of this to, eliminate any suspicion that might be directed towards him. So, Kevin, his brother, was the first one to enter, then his mother, Patricia, and then his father, Kent. So, once all of that was done, Bashir left their home, and he ended up exiting through the back door, jumped the fence, and continued onto a neighbor's yard. He exited through a neighbor's yard. Within minutes of being shot, Kevin had already died. Patricia was actually airlifted to Memorial Hermann Hospital, but shortly after, she also died. Thomas, on the other hand, he told the police officers, the report that he gave was that the attacker, the gunman, the burglar, he was black. And this was, of course, trying to throw him off of the scent of Chris Bashir. And as mentioned, Kent did survive the murder attempt. He was shot in the arm, and his bone was shattered, but he did survive. So all in all, they do end up finding out what happened, who it was that hired a hitman to kill their family. And so during the trial, his lawyers continuously tried to argue that it wasn't actually Thomas Whitaker that shot his brother and his mother and killed his brother and his mother and attempted to kill his father. Although he was responsible for hiring the hitman, but he wasn't the one that had actually done it, is what they said. So they felt that he shouldn't really be charged with the murders. So although they did try to submit a plea bargain to the DA, they actually ended up denying this plea bargain, and they continued forward. They moved forward and began a case against him to charge him for capital murder. They did, the prosecutors believed that Whitaker wanted his family dead because he just wanted to go after a life insurance payout, which he of course denied, and it claims that they thought it was a $1 million life insurance. It turns out that they only had one on his father, and that was for $50,000. And he did also try to talk about these previous assessments that he had received. He said he had a mental disorder, he was affected by drug abuse, and all of those things combined are what made him want his family dead. So during the trial, his father did come forward and publicly stated that he had actually forgiven his son. He had forgiven his son for killing his mother and brother and attempting to kill his father. I don't know that I could do that, but so he did say that he had forgiven his son, and he pleaded with the jury to not deliver a death sentence, but the jury still decided to convict him for capital murder. and he did receive a life sentence. Then on November 1st, 2017, his death warrant was actually signed, and he was scheduled for execution on February 22nd, 2018. Now, in February 20th, 2018, the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles unanimously recommended that the death sentence be commuted to life imprisonment, and this was actually accepted by their governor, Greg Abbott. He accepted the recommendation and noted that Whitaker had voluntarily and forever waived any and all claims to parole in exchange for a accumulation of his death sentence from death to life without the possibility of parole. And Abbott also made a point to clarify that Whitaker had not been the one to pull the trigger. And claimed that he would be victimized again. So speaking of Whitaker's father, Kent, would be victimized again if the state put to death his one and only remaining immediate family member. And so those were his reasons for changing his death penalty. Whitaker did respond to the governor and stated that he was thankful for his decision, not for himself, but for his father. So, try to kill your dad, and apparently dad will save your life. Who would have thought? So there we have Thomas Bartlett Whitaker, the 10th day of 12 days of killings. Let me know what you guys think. Have you guys heard about him before? I personally never heard about him before. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, share it, follow all of my social media. That's all linked down below. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.